Coming up next on Win News, Gareth Ward and Shelley Hancock more popular than ever. Fire destroys a home at Kanahooka, and a play Hitchcock fans can't afford to miss.
Across the Illawarra, South Coast and Southern Highlands, this is Win News.
Tonight, a truck loses its brakes and crashes on Bulli Pass. Kira MP Ryan Park falls in behind Michael Daly. And Tathra businesses returning to the good times. Good evening, I'm Geoff Phillips. Also coming up tonight, how the Dragons hope a former Bronco will give them their first win of the season. A man believed to be in his 30s has been taken to Wollongong Hospital with just a broken arm after crashing his truck on Bulli Pass this afternoon. Win News reporter Jared Constable is on the scene, and Jared, it's a miracle no one was killed and that the man walked away from the incident.
It is, Geoff. As you can see behind me, it is quite an ugly scene here with debris strewn across both sides of the pass, with traffic stopped for the best part of this afternoon. Here's what Inspector Norm Rees had to say a little earlier.
So we found one male occupant with relatively minor injuries considering the damage. It's one male with a fractured arm. He's self-extricated and the cabin is totaled, absolutely. It's burnt to just a chassis. There's nothing left up there. Very, very lucky, man.
Geoff, now traffic remains closed in both directions, with residents being told that power is unlikely to be returned before tomorrow morning. So there is an extensive damage bill piling up, but it could have been a whole lot worse.
Jared Constable there. The fallout from Labor's loss has begun, with opposition leader Michael Daly stepping aside from the role. The party will conduct a leadership ballot after the federal election. Mr Daly says he will nominate for the top job. Until then, Deputy Leader Penny Sharp will take the reins.
Back at work in his Kira electorate office following a resounding personal victory on Saturday, Ryan Park admits things could be better. Jordan Matthews, Win News.
Incumbents were dominant across the region on Saturday's state election as the coalition secured an historic third term of government. Not one seat changed hands across the Illawarra, South Coast and Southern Highlands, with most sitting members increasing their margins at the poll.
Two Liberal strongholds now even stronger.
Kanahooka residents were woken by a series of loud explosions last night as a home went up in flames. Thousands of dollars of damage was done to the two-storey dwelling where the blaze began, the inferno threatening neighbouring homes.
A red glow from a Kanahooka room as flames tore through the floor, the frantic moments that followed a rapid response to a raging inferno. Jared Constable, Win News.
Helensburgh's Metropolitan Colliery is idle tonight after high levels of gas were found in the workings. The colliery is the oldest operating coal mine in Australia and employs around 300 people. The resources regulator says high levels of methane and carbon dioxide were detected last Thursday and workers were withdrawn from the mine. Inspectors are currently on site monitoring the levels. Workers will be prevented from returning underground until investigations are completed and it is deemed safe to do so. It's been a gruelling 12 months for businesses in Tathra, with a slump in visitor numbers following the fires. A fresh approach has buoyed the town, with businesses at last reporting activity returning to levels seen before the disaster.
Back on her feet, it's taken a year of blood, sweat and tears for business owner Bronwyn Pividori to get to this point. Samara Gardner, Win News.
Lifeline's Big Book Fair held at Berkeley has raised more than $130,000 for the service. The three-day book fair saw more than 5,500 people make their way through the doors and more than 80,000 books being offered for sale. All money raised goes towards Lifeline services in the Illawarra and South Coast. Last year, the service answered more than 23,000 calls in the region. Coming up next on Win News, how RSLs are helping educate children about the Anzacs. And a must-see for Kiama's Hitchcock fans, the 39 Steps comes to life. Work has started on a major refurbishment of Dapto Mall. Owners, UniSuper, will spend $3.5 million upgrading the food court on the second level. The concept behind the renovation is to bring the outdoors within. Artists' impressions show the new designs and green, earthy, natural tones which will represent the Illawarra escarpment. The work will be completed by the middle of the year. Dapto Mall was built in 1987 and features 60 specialty stores. In the lead up to Anzac Day, RSLs are educating children on the importance of Anzacs, Australian war history and honouring our past. Learning from those who've served helps young children to better understand and connect with Australia's history.
For young kids, the Anzacs are soldiers of myth and legend, a world away from their modern-day classrooms.
Time for sport with Amy. Balgownie claims the Illawarra cricket title.
He did, Geoff. Balgownie has won the grand final in a thriller against Kira. Also, the Illawarra Premier League kicks off and Corbin Sims ready to make his Dragons debut against his former club.
This report brought to you by Southern Classic Cars Volkswagen, Corrimal Street, Wollongong.
In sport, the Dragons are staring down the barrel of a 0-3 start to the NRL season, but they're hopeful an off-season signing can help turn the tide when he makes his club debut against Brisbane on Thursday night.
It's been a tough start to the season for the Dragons, but even tougher for suspended recruit Corbin Sims.
Moving to horse racing and an upset in the Provincial Championship qualifier at Kembla with 51-1 shot Miss Reed Doble saluting on a wet track for jockey Travis Wolfgram and Wyong-based trainer Tracy Bartley.
And Miss Reed Doble at any old odds wins it. Miss Reed Doble from By Sea up for second.
The ride was outstanding. She just landed in the 1-1 and Travis rode her really well, and I think the filly had been going really well at home and she franked that form here, so I'm very happy.
Good news for a couple of Kembla trainers with Mick Tubman's By Sea and Luke Price's Eugene Pick finishing second and third respectively to earn spots in the $500,000 final at Royal Randwick. Balgownie has defended its Illawarra cricket title from fourth position, downing Kira in a pulsating, low-scoring final at North Dalton Park.
Friendly fire on a bowler, friendly wicket.
And that is our sport, Geoff.
Amy, thank you for that. Tanya is standing by with the weather. The cloud cover didn't budge today.
No, it didn't, Geoff, but there is some sunshine ahead. I'll have the forecast next. Hello again. Cloud cover overnight kept minimum temperatures well above average in most places. Our weather photo for tonight is thanks to Narelle, who captured this spectacular Wollongong sunrise. If you've taken a weather photo you'd like to see up on screen, you can email it through to weather@wintv.com.au. Let's have a look at the details from today. Temperatures felt quite a bit cooler than the mercury let on in the Highlands today. At 4 p.m, the mercury hit a high of 21 degrees at Bowral. The feels-like temperature was just 16. There were some strong winds recorded right across the region today, reaching 78 kilometres an hour at Goulburn, 65 kilometres an hour at Nowra and 70 kilometres an hour at Maruya, which saw a top of 29 degrees. On the satellite, a trough lies over the northern inland, while a high-pressure system over New Zealand is extending a ridge toward the north coast. On the synoptic, a strong front is crossing southern and western districts tonight and should pass through the remainder tomorrow. On the Illawarra waters and Bateman's Bay waters tomorrow, there is the chance of a morning storm offshore ahead of a mostly sunny afternoon. There is a strong wind warning in place on the Eden coast though, and it's an opposite forecast there. A sunny start, but the chance of an afternoon storm offshore south of Green Cape. Taking a look at the forecast for the Illawarra and Southern Highlands, sunny tomorrow. A top of 27 degrees forecast for Picton, 20 degrees at Goulburn, a cool start there, dropping to a low of 7, 12 to 24 the temps for Nowra. The sun will be shining on the south coast as well. Narooma will start the day on 12 and is heading for a top of 24 degrees, 23 the forecast high for Bega and Merimbula. For Wollongong, sunny tomorrow, a top of 23 degrees with sunrise at 7:03 in the morning and setting at 7 in the evening. And in the days ahead, a mostly sunny day on the south coast on Wednesday and partly cloudy in the Illawarra with just the slight chance of a shower. Much the same in the forecast for Thursday, and there is a medium chance of showers across the board on Friday, most likely falling in the afternoon and evening when there's also the chance of a storm. Geoff, we're definitely in for some cooler nights.
Good sleeping weather, Tan, thank you. And that is Win News for Monday the 25th of March. To view some of our reports, visit the Win News Illawarra Facebook page. I'm Geoff Phillips. Coming up next is The Project. Until 6 tomorrow, good night.
This has been a Win News presentation. Win News, Regional Australia's #1 news source.